Hi, team. Uh, this is Dr. T coming to you again on this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whichever day it is for you, uh, with a real quick message. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I wanted to make sure that this is part of our discussion when we prepare our students, your sons, your daughters, to go to college in 8 months or 3 years. This pertains to the 3 years time mark. Um, and I've had this discussion before, and there's only five things I want to quickly relate to you. And that's how important the ninth grade year is in the cumulative GPA of your son and your daughter, the incoming student, 3 years. Now, some people think, and I'm going to give you somewhat of a remedy if this should happen. Some people think that the last 2 years are the years most important. I personally and professionally disagree with that. That's why I'm doing this real quick video to talk about that ninth grade year. The ninth grade year starts starts when it's calculated as part of your GPA. It starts that year, your ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade year. Keep in mind, after your 11th grade year, that 12th grade year in the fall, you're applying to colleges. And they don't have anything to consider. So when that's done, you have to kind of reach back, and you can only rely on that ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade year. It is the start of those freshman grades. It's the start of the um, the cumulative GPA. Number two, course selection. Now, if your child, your son, your daughter, if they're taking AB courses, great. Those courses will do a couple of things. This is what I do when I have a student that's a good student. Everything that I get, transcript, um, the application, the GPAs on the application, um, but that transcript gives me an idea of what we're working with. And what I mean by that is, if you're taking AP courses, that means in my selection of courses levels, instead of an intro, we could probably put you in an advanced level math, especially if it's an elective, we know how to deal with that too. But especially if you want to go into the sciences, the math, or whatever, we are more apt to, or I would be, after discussion with the parents and the student, to put you in a level that's not the same as AP, but the next level, so that we can really just challenge you and push you along. Um, in selection of courses, also, what courses are you taking? Are you taking at that level? If I can see that you are college minded, you are trying to be college ready, or are you just taking courses to graduate? The transcripts are very telling. So be mindful of what courses you're taking that ninth grade year. Also, study habits and time management. That's a biggie. That is a biggie with the students I work with who are freshmen, and a lot of times there was a course that I would teach. We call it a FYE, freshman first year experience type course. It's a required course of all freshmen. And then the courses that I would teach, I would make sure that a time management chart is part of the process. It's a very interactive but very useful tool that students should use when they are maybe not used to managing their time. And I would say I was probably the worst. I did everything else, and I would wait until late at night to start my homework. I was involved in track practice. I was on the service club. I was in junior achievement. So many other things. And those things, I would come home from school, and then me and my buddies, we would go to junior achievement and get out of that about 9 o'clock. Then I go home and do homework. Not a good use of my time. And I really, it took me a while to learn or to develop steady habits and to develop a time management system that worked for me. Mine was I would do all the planning I want to do. At the track practice, I would go to dinner, I would hang out, and then I would go to bed around 10, 11 o'clock. But I would get up at 5 or 6. Now, I know this is crazy. I would get up about 5 or 6 in the morning when the room was quiet. And after my freshman year, I moved into a 2 bedroom apartment on campus. So there were 4 people in the apartment. But I would get up early. Everybody else is asleep. I could read. I could do the assignments I needed to do, and that was just my system because I knew throughout the day I wasn't going to get it done, or I didn't want to make time. So time management is crucial in addition to study habits. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know how to study until I got to college. I didn't know how to study until I got to college. Now, I knew I had to take notes. I took notes. I took lots of notes. The issue was, or the thing was, I didn't review these notes. By the same token, a lot of times I didn't read the assignments, so I didn't know what to study for. So I kind of winged it, and very frustrating, very frustrating. But I learned my lesson. Number 4, find yourself into some extracurricular activities, whether it's sports, whether it's service club like me, whether it's student government. Do something because I want to see if you're coming to my school. I want to see, yeah, I see the transcript. You're a great student, 3.0, 4.0, great. But what do you do outside the classroom? What are you doing outside of yourself? What I mean by that is, what are you doing to help somebody? Do you help at a shelter? Do you help at a homeless shelter? Do you feed the homeless? What are you doing that shows some humanity, some sense of caring outside, spending so much time in a book, in a classroom? That's important. Don't get me wrong. That is very important. But I think from the sense I'm getting, a lot of schools also want to know that you're a real person and that you do things outside of the classroom, that uh, you're involved in some type of sport that shows teamwork, or and being able to cooperate and partner with other people. So be mindful of that. Just that an extracurricular or some leadership skills that you can add to your application is always good. And then finally, college planning starts here. Hey, again, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. College planning starts in the ninth grade year. Perfect example, and I'm gonna leave you with this. Uh, I've had the pleasure of running 2, 3 summer bridge programs. Hands down, one of the best programs I've ever had any involvement with. And the institution I was at, the whole idea was there are students out there that didn't take the ninth grade seriously, didn't take the 10th grade seriously. And by the time they got to the 11th grade year, 12th grade year, they're like, oh man, I wasted 2 good years. So they may find themselves, and this is not everybody, I think 2 people go to summer bridge programs to get ahead and some to catch up. Those that came to catch up were interesting young people. I never forget there was one young man, I won't mention his name, but we are still. This happened almost like um, almost 20 years ago. This young man, we stay in contact. He's a captain in the army right now. But this is his story. When I stood about a week and a half into the program, I saw him being different, just how he carried himself, how he acted in the classroom, and it was obvious. It was obvious to me that he was here to redirect and correct and set on a different path. So one day at dinner, I asked, I said, "Look, man, what's your story? Why are you in this program?" And he admitted his 11th and 12th grade year, he was a class clown. He wanted to be heard, he wanted to be seen, he wanted to laugh, make everybody laugh. But when he realized that following year of his 11th grade year, that in his 12th grade year, he wasn't prepared. So this is we put the program out, and this family, the mother, from what I think, uh, put him into the program and drove him down and put him in the program, and he credits them for doing that because otherwise he probably wouldn't have been in the school. Anyway, this man came to the program with like a 1.5 or a 1.8 GPA. Now, that was under the standard. Normally, the average standard is about 2.0 or higher. It ranges, depends on the school. So he had like a 1.8. But I began to see when I would go by the classrooms, I saw his involvement. The instructor would ask me, where'd you get this kid from? And, he's good. He's prepared. He studies. And I would see him outside the classroom helping other students, just pushing them. Come to find out at the end of the 6 weeks, this young man went from a 1.8 to a 3.7 GPA. He was admitted to the institution whereupon he got involved with ROTC. They were impressed with him. They saw his leadership skills. He graduated 4 years later. No, wasn't four, because he accumulated credit in the Summer Bridge program. So he had about 10 hours, 9 to 10 hours already in the bank. So it took him 3 years to graduate. He graduated with honors of 3.7, but also he graduated a second lieutenant in the Army, and he is in Korea right now, I think. But that goes to show you that there's a way. And I'm gonna talk about the Summer Rich program later on in another video. But I wanted you to just hear how important the ninth grade year is too. Again, just a recap: GPA begins in the ninth. Your GPA begins in the ninth grade year. Your selection of courses really matter. Develop a study regime, a way to study, and time management. Manage your time in high school. Yeah, mom, dad, you got to go to bed by a certain time, so you give time to study and read to go to bed at a certain time. That's the way it is. Extracurricular activities and leadership, that's always important, because it kind of, I won't say it pads your application, but it adds to your application as to we see you as a real person. And then finally, college planning starts here. It is so important that as parents that we start that early, so that they can really be fully prepared mentally, athletically, leadership wise, and academically prepared to go to school. All right, guys, team, that's it. If you have any questions, please send it to coachedsolutions@gmail.com. There's some other things I'm working on to really fancy my thing up, but I'm just really concentrating on getting the word out right now. So I hope you enjoyed what I had today. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.